Welcome to the Week 3 Buy and Sell. My name is Braxton from Angle Fantasy Basketball, and I am here with my favorite buys and sells for Week 3. So with that being said, let's just hop right into it. My top buy of the week is Wendell Carter Jr. with actually an honorable mention to Tristan de Silva. So obviously the Banchero injury has created a lot of opportunity in the Orlando rotation. There seems to be some momentum around Mo Wagner as a pickup, but I really am liking these two over him. Wagner has a really limited skill set the efficiency is there, and then there's some points and rebounds, but not really much beyond that. Wendell Carter Jr. has been chipping in a little bit from everywhere thus far, a splash of steals and blocks, even a couple of assists each night. And with Powell being out, I think he could open up some additional opportunities for him in terms of scoring to really boost his fantasy value. De Silva is also somebody I really like and somebody I was really high on coming into the season. He was really just kind of that 11th guy in the rotation, and just the one injury has allowed for him to come in and work his way in. It would have been hard to be better than he was in his first game, and I expect him to be a nice pickup in deeper redraft leagues. Definitely somebody you can afford to grab in 12-teamers, actually, even with how the games are distributed this week. Orlando does have four games this week, but so do a lot of other teams. There's super really heavy game days on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So this could be a potential week to, grab somebody or stick somebody at the end of your bench that maybe, you can afford to sit for a couple games, like a Noah Clowney or De Silva or something like that. So the Banchero injury, Wagner, not really somebody I'm really looking at. KCP, not really somebody I'm looking at. Franz Wagner, obviously, is going to see some additional usage as well. But Wendell Carter Jr., especially because he's been banged up a little bit the past couple games, is somebody I think that's flying a little bit under the radar as a pickup. So, number 2 is going to be Alex Sarr. So, Alex Sarr is only owned in 35% of Yahoo leagues, and I'm not really sure why. He's a top pick on this terrible Wizards team. He's averaging 2.8 blocks per game right now. And, this is something that's really interesting to me. He's only averaging 0.6 turnovers per game, in addition to his 10 points and 6 boards, and then also over 1 3-pointer per game. That's nice. What I think, this is just really confusing to me. I'm wondering if it's the terrible summer league that really has kind of turned people off of him. And I guess the poor preseason as well, with just the idea that he has no offensive game. But, in the first 5 or so games, he's really showed that he can be a potential fantasy contributor right now. I mean, the field goal percentage is not great at 37, but the free throw has been really nice to 87%, albeit on low volume. That's under 2 attempts per game. But, you could not ask for a better punt field goal percentage big. The blocks may come down closer to 2 per game, but he's currently the 60th ranked player, and he needs to be more highly owned. Going in my opinion, I'd grab him in any league size, even 18 leagues, just because of those blocks are in such high demand. And he's a great guy to pair with somebody like Jabari Walker, Jabari Smith, or maybe if you have like a Naz Reid, Miles Turner, those kind of bigs where, they're 3-point shooting, but also strong in blocks. Jaren Jackson, another one, obviously. He's somebody that I really think can help a lot of teams right now. So my third buy is going to be Jose Alvarado, and this is one that's kind of picking up a lot of steam just generally right now. Obviously, the Pelicans are really banged up. DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, and Herb Jones are going to be out multiple weeks. In steps Jose Alvarado. I mean, he's got that classic point guard skill set. He's got nice assists. He's got nice steals. But he can score, too. I mean, he can make some threes, and he can score over 10 points per game. He showed in this first one scoring around 15 points in each of the last 2. And I think on nights where Zion can't get it going, he kind of really has to be that, second option or just to get something working. I mean, he's really... His role is to be an energy guy off the bench, and he hasn't done a lot of this heavy minute type stuff yet in his career, but he's showing that he can step up when needed and provide some support to this really, really banged up Pelicans team. I really like him as a pickup in almost all league sizes right now. Maybe not 8 teams. There might be some better players on the wire, but in 10 teams and 12 teams, especially ones where assists are really difficult to find. He's somebody I really like picking up for the next 2 to 3 weeks at least, and possibly more. I mean, McCollum and Herb Jones are, I think, to be reevaluated in 2 weeks, not necessarily returning in 2 weeks. So, and then DeJounte Murray, obviously, with the broken hand, opening some additional minutes there at point guard. But my last buy for the week, and I will give kind of a disclaimer. I'm not terribly excited about this one, but I do think it's worth mentioning. Obi Toppin is somebody who I think could benefit from both of the Wiseman and Isaiah Jackson injuries, both torn Achilles. The Pacers only have one center on their roster right now in Miles Turner, and it remains to be seen if they're going to sign somebody in free agency. There isn't really a whole lot of exciting options available, but I think it's very possible Obi Toppin might play some small ball center. He doesn't have my favorite type of fantasy game. I mean, he's a lot of his value comes in efficiency and points. But if he is able to play some small ball center, I think that he can contribute a little bit in the blocks category as well as rebounds and provide some classic big man stats from somebody you may not expect with 1 or 2 3-pointers per game. This is really dependent on what Rick Carlisle wants to do at backup center. Obi Toppin is playing a decent amount of minutes already, but if Carlisle decides, Obi's probably good enough for now, it could be Jarace Walker. We'll see. Although Jarace Walker doesn't really profile as a small ball 5 to me the way that Obi Toppin could. Just if he's able to secure that additional usage and additional minutes, I think that could be nice for him. And it's somebody that I could look at as a potential streamer in 12-team leagues. Definitely a pickup in 14 or 16-team leagues, though. Going into our sell now, the first sell this week, this is going to be a sell high. It's going to be Payton Pritchard. Celtics have really been dealing with, or not really been dealing with, but they've been dealing with a couple of injuries in the front court. And he's shooting an insanely high volume of threes at around 9.5 per game. He's making those at 43%. Don't expect him to hit 4 3-pointers per game long term. And I think this is a really nice sell high window for somebody that could be slightly sell him for somebody that could be slightly underperforming, like a Daniel Gafford, a Tobias Harris, or maybe a Denny Avdia that has a better season-long outlook, in my opinion. Pritchard's value lies exclusively in his ability to make this absurd volume of threes. And while I think the steals could hover at around 1 per game, he's currently averaging 1.3. I think it's much more likely he comes back down to earth here soon. I know the Celtics don't have the best depth, but I just have a really hard time buying that he's turned into somebody that's going to make 4 3-pointers per game and be a nightly threat for 20 plus points. Now, if they blow out everybody and he's able to get those minutes in the fourth quarter, sure. And I could be wrong here, I guess, but Pritchard just, if he's not hitting those threes, he's not going to be doing a whole lot for you. So the assists obviously are not there. Could be a nice punt assist guy for now, but again, I still think he's a nice sell high guy. And if you get somebody decent for him, I definitely would go for it. And then the last sell for this week is going to be Trayce Jackson Davis. Yes, he is shooting 80% from the field, but he's not really doing much of anything else. He's 64% rostered on Yahoo, and that is much too high in my opinion. I personally will be dropping him myself come tomorrow. The minutes are just not there. His mild breakout last season came when Kevon Looney just about entirely fell out of the rotation, and now Steve Kerr seems fine with playing Looney once again. TJD played just 13 minutes in his last game, and that is not going to work. He's ranked outside the top 160 in 9 category rankings right now. Drop for somebody with a much more clear outlook. And on top of it, yeah, the field goal percentage is high, and yes, he's getting some rebounds, but there's no blocks, right? So if he was averaging 1 to 1.5 blocks per game, maybe that's somebody you can hold. Daniel Gafford isn't playing heavy minutes, and he's still rosterable, and actually a good asset because of the blocks that he's contributing with. So Trayce Jackson Davis, definitely somebody that should be cut for now. If somebody else wants to deal with him, it's almost, and I know he's not literally a zero on your roster, but rostering him and playing him right now cool, you'll get 6 points and 3 boards and 1 assist on a nightly basis, with nothing else. It's really hampering your ability in those weekly leagues. And he's not really somebody I feel, particularly high on moving forward. But with that being said, that is going to do it for the week 3 buy and sell. Check out our website, anglefantasybasketball.wordpress.com. Check us out on Twitter, AngleFantasyBB. This is going to be on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts or Apple Music, whichever one that is. With that being said, talk to you guys next time. Thanks so much.